premier peer network in the fitness industry. Peer network, not networking, we do that today, but a network is a place where owners, executives, and managers from boutique fitness businesses gather on a monthly basis to share insights, resources, strategies, etc. with each other. It is collaborative learning. We're not teaching them how to run their business. These are successful business owners who collaborate so they can figure out what the best solutions are to the common challenges that they have. Our mission at BFS is to educate, connect, and empower all of you to help you launch new programs, manage your existing business, and scale your business. Educate, connect, empower to launch, manage, and scale. That's what we do. We do it in 4 ways. The peer network I mentioned, in-person events like this, our sprints that Lisa talked about, and our marketplace, which is a vetted, curated marketplace, which we'll talk about a little bit later today. That's what BFS is. When we talk about the network, it includes the coaches, the investors, the media, the operators, who am I missing? The service providers. All of that is part of the BFS network because all of the operators need this network around them to manage and grow their businesses. You guys our members come from all over the country, the UK, Cayman, and Canada. And these are examples of some of our charter members who've been with us for 3+ years. And this is where my pastor says, all minds clear before the sermon starts. All right. And T's going to talk about how we know what we know.
All right. I'm back. So here's our perspective. Global business and economic climate, fitness industry climate, and intimate conversations that happen within it. We all exist within the larger ecosystem of everything that's happening. That's going to be a recurring theme throughout today. What happens within boutique fitness is largely affected by what's happening outside. So there have been some evolving things that have been happening. You guys know this. Remember back in the good old days, 2019? Remember that? Pre-COVID? Boutique was like go-go, right? Quickly came out of nowhere to become 43% of the total gym industry. We were on fire. Of course, things came to a halt, with COVID. But the one thing that we said at the time was, what's going to happen is people are going to get depressed during that time frame. We found that during COVID, 61% of Americans became more or gained weight. But we said that the underlying health and fitness trend was going to continue. We'd see that come out the other side, right? And finally now, we're here in a place where fitness habits from before had been shattered, and now we're in a place where there's diversification. Need for diversification of services, particularly among studios, and that's going to be a thing that we're going to come to today a lot. So we're going to have to reimagine the definition of growth. Before, growth was how do I increase the number of members? How do I get more studios, more studio locations? Now growth is diversification of services and other things like that. I see you, Gary. What's up? I'm seeing people I didn't get the chance to see at all. We're still in a state of change. The challenges keep getting more and more challenging. And why? Because people is the biggest problem that we face. How many of you are facing a people problem? Try to find the right person for your business. So in the survey, 75% of studio owners consistently say hiring is one of their top 3 challenges. I run one of the mastermind groups, and finding that right person has been a recurring theme. Here's the thing, only about 20% of our studios, 9.4% of our studios have a 20% or greater profit margin. You know what that means? That means you're sweating. Like every day. It means, there was a stat that came out about the restaurant industry, right? And the stat came out sort of at the beginning of COVID, and I was like, can that be right? Like most restaurants are about a week or 2 weeks away from going out of business. Like one thing that goes wrong and they're done. That's insane. That's why you want to have much higher profit margins. So we want to talk about that. We want to talk about the people aspect of this because we always say the people is the most important thing. If you are not focused on your people, we're going to get to the fact that many of us are not. Even though we say we are. If you're not focused on your people, then you're focusing on something that isn't going to get you where you want to go. There's a labor shortage. How many of you know that? It's a huge labor shortage. Why is there a labor shortage? Well, because we're at historical lows in unemployment, right? In addition to that, if you look at the high-stake industries, law enforcement, healthcare, aviation, it's across the board. And there's a reason for that, and it's called demographics. We'll get to this a little bit later, but the birth rate has been declining. I don't know if you guys noticed. They talk about this a lot in China. They talk about it a lot actually in Russia, right? Brain drain, birth rate declining, all the rest of that sort of thing. Big issues. We're going to see how it affects us. The labor pool has gotten, well, let's put it this way. There's more potential labor because the baby boomers are aging, right? And they're still available for work because people are living longer. But because the birth rates have been declining, the people who are coming in at the younger ages, there are less of them, fewer of them. And are they different? They're just different, right? They're just different people, right? And so the needs for the workforce and the way in which you satisfy them are completely different. So the experience factor isn't there. Gen Z and millennials. I know some of you are millennials, and there are a bunch of Gen Z in here as well. Values-driven, prioritize health and well-being. A little high strung, high anxiety. If you recognize yourself, clap. Right. Okay, but this is the workforce, not just of the future, but of now. So if you look at the top 3 challenges that studio owners say, hiring is the top challenge. And not just the hiring, but also the maintenance of folks inside their workforce, their environment. Then you get to client acquisition, then you get to developing a growth strategy. So hiring, we say, is our top challenge. And 45% of studio owners say that finding that right person, the biggest staffing challenge. And then if we look at our mastermind groups, which we've done, the idea of staff expectations was brought up 206 times. And most folks are saying, I can't get my people to do what I want them to do. That's what most people are saying. They're like, how do I motivate them? How do I inspire them? How do I manage them? How do I talk to them? Massive challenge. Massive challenge. 26 to 50%, most people in our survey said 26 to 50% of revenue was spent on people. That means there's not a lot further that you can go in terms of the percentage of payroll or percentage of revenue that you're spending on payroll. You just got to find the right people or better people or manage them better. You've got to do more. So here's the challenge. The fact is it can't be solved with dollars. And my other business, so there's BFS and there's a company called FitGrid. And with FitGrid, we're never going to pay as much as Facebook for engineers. Never. We're never going to pay as much as that. How do we get them in? We inspire them with the vision, with the idea, with the passion, with the people that they're going to be around. You've got to do more than just offer dollars, and most studios don't have the dollars to offer these days anyway. So how do you compete with Walmart and all these other places that are offering amazing health benefits at the same rate or higher? It's a challenge. So our recommendation, shift your priorities. We'll get to that in a second. Prioritize your employee value proposition and team engagement. We'll talk about that. Lean on AI and technology. How many of you use ChatGPT? Okay, good. The rest of you will have a conversation. Diversify your hiring pool. So let's talk about the shift in priorities for a second. Let's talk about the hypocrisy. Everybody ready? So, you say that 75% of your challenge is hiring. The survey says building a high-performance team, only 5% of people say that that's the top thing. What's the top thing? 35% growing your membership, growing your profit margins, becoming more profitable. Let me ask you a question. How are you going to do that with the wrong people? Have you ever noticed that the wrong people drag you down? The wrong people are toxic. There is a well-known saying in Silicon Valley that you would rather fund an A team with a B idea than a B team with an A idea. Why? Because the A team will figure it out. So the way that you actually get to growing your membership, growing your profit margins, becoming more profitable is the people that you hire. So I think we need to shift that around. Right? I think we need to focus on the people and tell the people what you need to do in the business. and then get the hell out of the way. That's tough for us, right? Delegation is not the easiest thing. Clients do not come first, employees come first. If you take care of your employees, they'll take care of the clients. It's a well-known entrepreneur. I don't think his latest venture worked, Virgin Galactica, but you know what? I didn't need to go to it anyway. All the rest of Virgin stuff, fantastic, right? Richard Branson. Prioritize your employee value prop. Wall Street Journal. Now may be the time to ask your employer to help with tuition. Okay. I just had someone, again on the FitGrid side, I just had someone come to me and say, hey, there's an AI conference that I'd like to go to. It's going to cost this amount. Small dollars, wasn't a full course, just a conference. No matter how cash-strapped or whatever the company ever is, you know what my answer is? Absolutely. Number one, because most people don't ask. Number two, because there has to be some avenue for growth. People have to feel like it's an environment that allows that to happen. Now I know, given that we're sort of at 9.4% of the companies, 20% or more profit margins, you can feel as if you can't afford to do that. My point is you can't afford not to. You can't afford not to do that. So encourage your employees to come and to ask for that. But in addition to that, there are also other things that you can do. Micro lessons. Again, it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be a whole semester-long, year-long course or whatever. Just put up a session. We have something called sprints. Go to a sprint. Right? Something like that. It works. I promise you, people feel more like, oh, this is a place where I feel like I can really grow. It makes all the difference in the world. It makes them feel like you're supporting them. Quantifying team engagement with trackers. You probably can't see this, but this was something that was created by Jess for the Mastermind program. And so this is where my eyes are bad. Okay. Amount of subbing requests. Weight of that, -5. All right. And by the way, if you want to, you can get access to the tracker by clicking on the QR code. Amount of coverage offered, meeting attendance, arrives early for shifts. Weight those things, take each employee, add it all up, and see how engaged each one of your folks are. Makes a big difference. Those that are not engaged, maybe you either need to have a conversation, or maybe you need to replace them. Time for hard choices, right? And we're all used to hard choices after COVID because we're all still here. They agree. Lean on AI and tech. Raise the hands on how many people are using ChatGPT and all the rest of that. Listen, I swear to you, I am a great copywriter. I write the best effing messages. Can I say that? I write the best messages. But I'm not sure you can tell the difference between my message and a ChatGPT message these days. I'm like, you put in enough parameters, I'm like, that really sounds like me. Holy crap, that's pretty good. Right? So I can spend 20, 30, 40 minutes writing something out, or you can use ChatGPT and you get it done in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And you know what? The person who's observing it and who's reading it won't know the difference. Which is kind of shameful to me because I spent a lot of time. I was scolded by my English teacher a lot. I thought it was pretty good. 72% of studios are using or interested in using AI to help business, but also a lot of studios are scared of AI. What happens if it goes rogue? What happens if it's the right message? What happens if this? What happens if that? Okay. Let me just say, do it. You like Nike, just do it. I promise you, you'll see the benefits. Here was a quote from one of our masterminds. Last week's meeting was so beneficial. Your perspective actually changed my whole paradigm around using AI assistance in my day-to-day work. You essentially said that use of the bot, I think she means ChatGPT, but use of ChatGPT requires that we know inside and out exactly what our objectives are, including what, how, and to whom we're trying to communicate. It shifted my belief that if I use it from I'm lazy, why do we feel like we need to suffer, to the CEO mindset. You know where I learned the CEO mindset from my mom? My mom's a doctor. My mother said to me, there are 3 things you can do in this life. The things that everybody can do, things that only some people can do, and the things that only you can do. Focus on the things that only you can do and outsource all the rest. I outsource everything. Everything. Just allows you to be more efficient. Julian likes to talk about money. You want to talk about money?
my first mea culpa for the day. I acknowledge the women who lead the industry, and I failed to acknowledge the women who run this company, BFS. That is Jessica LaChance, Lisa Taylor, Mia, Katie, Sarah, and our admin team, which is 4 out of 5 women. He and I get the text and the email saying, great job, blah, blah, blah. You guys are doing a great job. Those women run this company on a day-to-day basis. We want to make sure that we acknowledge them. So thank you for all that you guys do. So I doubt I'm going to say anything today that you guys don't already know. What I hope to do is remind you of some things that you may have forgotten. The theme of the state of the industry is reimagining growth. And it's because growth is more than having, let me go back, I want to focus for a second. There we go. Growth is more than the number of locations you have. There's nothing wrong with having 5, 10, 20 locations, but it's also okay to have one location that is profitable. What is profitable? In our opinion, profitable is 20% EBITDA minimum. That's profitable. Why? Because cash is king. That is not my saying. Most finance teachers will tell you cash is king. I'll tell you that cash is oxygen, right? So the flight attendants tell you put the oxygen mask on yourself first. You can't do that if you don't have profits. One of our members is not here today because there was a fire below her building, in her building, below her studio. No fault of hers. She'll be closed for a month. Fortunately, she has the oxygen, the business oxygen, to survive a month, but that's gonna hurt. And if you're not profitable above 20%, that's worrisome. And so today, we're gonna talk about opportunities that are available to you to help you either reduce your costs and or generate revenue to help you get to profitable and then to help you increase your profit margins. So as you can see here, and as we mentioned earlier, of the studios that we surveyed this year, asking them about their 2022 profitability, only 9.4% were above 20%. 9.4%. I've been thinking about that number for 6 months. And everything that, a lot of what we've been doing for the last 6 months has been focused on this number. Here's a question for you. Are you maximizing the opportunity to monetize every aspect of your business? And by every aspect, I mean, are you getting all the juice out of the orange? The orange is your business. There's your physical location. There's a virtual community. There's your email list. So here's an example. My fitness coach is a BFS member, Kelvin Garrett. He'll be here later. Kelvin creates my program for me once a month, sends it to me in an app that I follow. I go into Kelvin's studio once a month for an in-body test to track my progress. I'm paying Kelvin and I'm visiting his studio once a month for maybe 10 minutes. So my personal footprint in his physical space is minimal, but he's generating revenue for me. What are the opportunities available to you guys to grow your profits without necessarily increasing your lease overhead? So I want to talk about 5 areas that we think you can address or at least consider that will help you make money or save money. These are the 5. Evaluate your pricing strategy, get more creative with real estate, reduce your overhead, serve your clients' total well-being. That's actually, reduce your overhead is going to be more of an announcement versus a recommendation, and introduce ancillary revenue. So, evaluate your pricing strategy. Are you charging enough for your classes? Are your rates tied to profitability? Have you created a pricing chart recently and I'm talking an XY chart, X, high to low, Y, near to far, and place all of your competitors on that chart, and then decide, do you want to be at the premium market, mid-market, affordable, but make that choice knowingly and intentionally, as opposed to, oh snap, I just happen to be here, but I really thought I was here. So have you really evaluated where your prices are in the marketplace? Have you made the conscious choice about your pricing strategy? And raise your hand if your lease has automatic escalator clauses every year. Raise your hand. Raise them high. Okay. Everyone whose hand is up, do you automatically raise your prices every year? I see 1, I see 2, 3, 4. So let me get this right. Your costs go up every year automatically, and you're not automatically increasing your prices. Or if not your prices, finding something else you can do to increase your revenue, to offset, you know your rent is going up on a specific day every year, right? So it's not necessarily about more locations, it's about increasing your profitability. And I should have said, I'm not talking about any of the fundamentals that you need to do. I'm assuming that you've already locked down and are implementing best practices on sales, marketing, lead gen, sales gen, client experience, client journey. I'm assuming you're already doing that, or you'll spend some time today visiting one of the mini sprints, listening to Ben Camper's session on operations, listening to Emma Barry's session on client experience, listening to Carrie, Amanda, Felicia talk about growth strategies. I'm assuming you're already doing that. I'm talking now about the other things you can do once you've already locked that in. So pricing strategy is one of those things. Getting creative with real estate. That's why Sabre is the sponsor of this session. And that's why Jay will be talking later on today, and Francine, about different ways to become creative with your real estate. So for example, Rhythm Fitness and Recovery, where are you? Brian, stand up for a second. Brian is opening a new gym in Westchester County where his business partner is the landlord and the developer. And he said this is the first time he's ever had a landlord with whom he's been, first time they're both aligned. They're on the same path. This is not new, but it's not being done nearly enough. Studio 3 in Austin is co-located in the Thompson Hotel. In New Jersey, we have Drop Fitness with Fitting Room, Mile High Run Club, Physique 57, and Humming Puppy. These are examples of co-location to drive down your real estate costs. Upper East Side, New York, 3rd Avenue, there is Dry Bar and Rumbo co-located in the same building. And even outside of the industry, in Harlem, there is a breakfast place called Harlem Biscuit Company in the morning, and at 4 p.m. is Cantina Mexican in the afternoon. 2 small businesses sharing rents. Why? Because your 2 primary drivers of profit are rent and payroll. That's why today we're talking about people and profits, right? Your lease that you negotiate is going to set the parameters for your P&L for the entire existence of your lease. And that's why Jay's going to talk about some best practices for you guys to manage your overhead.
Our figures are showing that more people are prepared to pay more money for better products. Now, the luxury market says exactly the same thing. And you get an emotional reaction to people that are buying that Hermes bag. But now people realize that the Hermes bag is no good without your health. So now the health becomes more valuable. And that applies to everyone.
I have nothing else to say about that. I think that's self-explanatory. Just talked about that. I want to come back to this. All right. NT talked about what we've been saying for a couple of years regarding we expected that the society was going to move in the direction that it has, and now here we are. Frommer says that people are most focused on their weight, their sleep, their mental health. Lululemon says the same thing. People focus on their well-being. McKinsey, what happened to my McKinsey slide? McKinsey said the same thing. McKinsey, Lululemon, two world-class brands at very opposite ends of the cultural spectrum saying the same thing. So here's the question for you. We know that well-being is more than movement. All of you are selling movement. I know you're selling community. Yes, totally understand. Movement is what your community does. And there's certainly different components of the movement. But most of your clients are seeing you 45 minutes a session, maybe 3 sessions a week. Total well-being includes the other 23 hours and 15 minutes when your clients are not in your studio. How are you helping your clients with their total well-being? Remember, we're talking about how do you make money or save money. This goes into the make money category by taking what you're already doing and positioning it as a solution to the challenges that are harming our entire society. So, how many of you run fitness challenges? Raise your hand. You run a fitness challenge. Great, excellent. How many of you run nutrition challenges? Fewer hands. How many of you have an Apple Watch or any other device that you use to track your sleep? Raise your hand high and keep them up high. Okay. How many do you think your members are also interested in tracking their sleep? So you run fitness challenges, you have a tracking device for yourself. Do you think there might be an opportunity for you to run a sleep challenge? Again, where your clients don't have to come physically enter your space, they can pay you a fee. That fee is going to be high profit margin because you're not hiring an instructor necessarily to manage that, just dropping down to the bottom line. So it seems like an opportunity for a sleep challenge, for a mental health challenge. I could go on and on and on about the ways in which what you already do solves a lot of the challenges that we all have. I'm going to talk about menopause for a second. I'm also going to talk about sarcopenia. All of us are going to experience sarcopenia. All of us. A lot of fitness pros out here. Tell me what one of the best ways is to manage sarcopenia. Strength training and protein. Same question. What are the experts saying is a recommended way for women to manage menopause? Strength training. What do you guys do for a living? So how many of you are positioning the services that you already provide as a solution for what your members, if they're a human being, they are absolutely going to experience sarcopenia at some point. And if they're a woman or a person identifying as a woman, they're absolutely going to. So we're not talking about a whole nother category of type 1 diabetes and Parkinson's, things that may not afflict everyone. Everyone is going to age. Every woman is going to have menopause, and there are probably 5 or 10 other conditions I'm not aware of. And most of the recommended ways of managing those conditions are by delivering the services that you guys are already providing. So the recommendation is that you simply position your services in a way that solves your members' challenges, because they are telling society that they're more interested in their mental health, their anxiety, their overall health. They're less interested in movement alone. And many of us are simply offering our movement services. All right, let's go back. Announcement time. Really excited about this. Been working on this for a couple of weeks for you guys. We have just created a group buying collective. Does anyone know what that is? Group buying collective. Anybody want to guess?
It's when people pool their money to go in and buy something at a lower rate because we're getting a better rate through buying this in the community.
Bingo. Who here buys toilet paper? Do you buy Kleenex tissues? Do you buy detergent, Clorox, soap, office supplies, etc.? We have just secured access for all BFS members to purchase all of those things at preferred pricing from Staples, from Home Depot, from Grainger, from Cintas. And if you register today for the general session or the CEO Summit, you are a BFS member. You will receive a complimentary community membership that runs through the end of the year. You will save money by, the more you buy, the more we buy, the more we save. That's the group buying collective. So the impetus to just go on Amazon and click your regular order, fight that impetus. Because when all of you realize that we're stronger together, you will save more money, which helps you get to that 20% profitability that we've been talking about. So specifically, companies in our marketplace that can help you save money. Home Depot, I mentioned, Staples, Grainger, Cintas, Woodway. Sorry, Willie, this doesn't apply to you because you're already a Woodway customer. But every new Woodway customer who's a BFS member gets $1,000 off at Forefront, $300 off in S-Curve. And we're negotiating similar partnerships like that with other companies to help you save money on the things you're already buying. Azan, that's why I asked you about the Woodways. To make money, we have created a partnership with Halo Therapy Solutions, which will be in the Experience Lounge. So if you're thinking about adding recovery to your business, talk to them today. FullScript is also here. You will now have the opportunity to sell supplements, personal care products, collagen, all those things to your members and earn between 20 and 30% profit. The range depends on how much profit you want to keep. If you want to keep the 30%, then they're going to pay close to cost. If you want to give your members a discount, then your profit will drop down. But no inventory, no purchase ahead of time. And FullScript is here in the gallery, so talk to Annette about how that works. Swerve, Encore Fit, American Specialty Health, all of these are companies that are members of the BFS marketplace that can help you make money. So, profit recommendations, 5 things. They all fall into 2 categories: save money, make money, evaluate your pricing strategy, think about how you're positioning what you already do to reach a broader audience, serve your clients' total well-being needs. And we have a session later on today on ancillary revenue. So attend that to learn how you can generate more revenue from online, from retail. Joanna Peace is going to talk about how she's generating 25% of her gross revenue, 25% of her gross revenue from retail. So attend that session. My time is up. Thank you for being here today.